Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Massive Darkness 2 unboxing. This is for the Four Horsemen, the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse, of course, the enemy and campaign box. So what's really fun about this type of box is this will add either some solo quests if you just want to play some solo missions and tie them into your base game, or if you picked up the Heavenfall campaign, you can play a campaign mode of this and fight all Four Horsemen. It's just going to add some more roaming monsters, so each one can be added in as a roaming monster in any game, or you can fight them as a boss as well. So there's several different ways to play that. You know, regular one-shot missions against each one as roaming monsters, or as a boss, or play as a campaign, combining the both. If you want to play just by itself, you only need the base game. If you want to play with any of the higher level roaming monsters or the campaign mode, you will need Heavenfall since it has all the campaign stuff in it. Yeah, each character plays a little bit differently. I'm not going to go through every single little map, but basically it's neat about how the campaign works. You have different stuff to add in your treasure bag and rules to set for playing the campaign. What you do is you play each horseman separately, so A, B, C, or D, and you can play them in any order, but you have to play all four. Then you fight all four as a boss together. But what you do is, so if I'm playing against Plague, I pull up the other three horsemen out of the deck. So I can come across Plague as my roaming monster, but I won't come across any of the other horsemen by accident. But yeah, then they set up each one has, of course, their own different setups. So you have fight as Plague, Famine. Each will have their own different style. So they're going to each use their own special board, which is also really fun, which we'll take a look at them. Then you have War. And then finally we have Death. And they each have their own special one tile. And then you fight all four horsemen at the same time. Which is very interesting and unique. And then it has actually this fight, and there's a little board down here. You do some stuff. Then you actually go to the full boss board, which has its own set of tiles. And they have this thing called the Death Carousel? The Doom Carousel. So what they do is, it's neat on here, is the horsemen will each start in a corner, and then during their movement phase, they'll each move around the board. And then when eventually stuff happens, then they close off the inner rings. They go from this red ring where they have lots of space to move around, you can kind of dodge them a bit. Then they move into this blue ring, and they go the opposite direction. And there's less space, so they're going to be circling more often. But it only happens when you kill one of the horsemen. So you're down to 4, you're down to 3 in here. They're going to move, then you get down to 2, the last 2 are going to run around in this little circle and hit you all the time. It's just kind of a fun little gimmick there. Alright, let's take a look at the actual horsemen themselves. Now, there are no minions or mobs in this set. It's just the horsemen. So we'll start off with War. Now, we will get all 6 cards. So we'll get, levels 1 through 10, so you can play them in either mode. But we'll look at their rolling monster versions first. I was honestly expecting them to be bigger. Like, I expected them to be more like some of the boss size, or like at least a little bit bigger. But it makes sense that they're not, because they're just supposed to essentially be human-sized characters on these horses. So this works out really well. It makes sense. I just thought they would have been bigger than like the regular characters. Yeah, they're his like rhino horse. He just looks like a man with a big old mustache. And so each horseman also has its own extra little deck of punishment cards. We'll look at those after we're done looking at these characters. But his starts off with 7 health. 1 blue, 1 black defense die. His attack is +1 claw, he gains 2 swords, and he has 1 orange and 1 black die. At the start of your hero phase, draw a new War Punishment card. If you drew War Command, if the token is not assigned, so he's gonna have we have a pile. You have a pile of tokens, so he'll have a war token, but he only gets 1. If he's not assigned to a spawn, is not assigned, spawn a mob on War's Zone, and assign a token to it. This doesn't activate this enemy phase. After that, perform 1 action with all enemies in the dungeon except War. Otherwise, place War in the closest hero zone and attack them. Afterwards, perform 1 action with the closest enemy. Yeah, so basically it's like, if he has not assigned this, you'll assign it to a mob. And then all enemies in the dungeon attack. So basically if you drew War Command, he's gonna incite everybody to attack. Otherwise, he's gonna attack the closest guys. It makes sense, he's War. He's all about attacking. Alright, so let's see what his other stuff does. His stats are just gonna go up. Is basically what's going to happen. None of the other card effects should change. He's going to gain more dice, and then when we hit the second tier, he's going to start adding them green and red die in there. And then when we finally hit level 10, now he has 15 health, 4 blue, 3 green, 2 black dice for his defense. His attack still only gives him plus 2 swords, but he now rolls 3 orange, 2 red, and 3 black dice. Alright, then let's look at his skill cards here quick. So he's going to get War's Punishment cards. There's only 4 of them. Each horseman only has 4 cards, but basically they recycle when you get this greater punishment. It says at the start of the darkness phase, shuffle all War's Punishment cards. So his 1 punishment is all enemies have plus 1 orange die. During combat, they gain 1 extra claw, or all enemies have attack, add 1 fire to the defending hero. So yeah, you'll get some different stuff there. And on the rules for each scenario, he might have different things that say what that war token does. It's not referenced on his actual card. Trying to see if I can find war here quick. Alright, yeah, I don't see it. I think I got war tokens just to show that like he doesn't do it. What's also neat goes when you're playing the campaign, if you beat one of the horsemen, you gain one of their skills. So one of your players can gain the war skill, which gets you 1 extra attack with plus 1 yellow or orange dice, or you can wound yourself for 4 to gain 1 yellow, orange, or red die. Yeah, so it's kind of fun. You get an extra skill for beating these guys, which again can make a campaign interesting. Alright, up next we have Death, who is... which horseman is he? That would be Plague. There's Death. Death is the only one that doesn't gain extra tokens. There's Death's like Necro Horse, a skeletal horse. Plus he's got like no face really, and he's got that trident, which is really cool. Not a trident, it's a duodent, because it only has 2 spears. So at the start of it, he has 7 health, 1 blue, 2 black dice for defense, and his combat says roll a claw. Attacker defending hero discards 1 mana, and he has 1 orange and 3 black dice. At the start of the hero phase, draw a new Death Punishment card. If you drew Death Upon Us, KO one hero in magic range. Otherwise, place death in the closest hero zone and attack them. If that hero has no mana before the attack begins, attack with +1 orange die. So he's going to suck your mana out to try and kill you. But yeah, if he drew that card and he's in range, he's going to auto-kill you. There's something very important to remember, is stay the hell away from death. Alright, so let me just look at this up. You're just going to gain increased dice. Increased dice. Now you're going to get them red and green dice. Now his attack down here also becomes a red die instead. So if he drains your mana, he's going to become very powerful. But he doesn't drain any extra mana. So now he has 15 health, he has 3, 3, and 3 defense dice, and 3, 2, and 3 for attack dice. Yeah, it's pretty punishing. Alright, so he'll have his punishment cards. Which will, of course, be the Death Upon Us. Just says shuffle all his punishment cards. So it's kind of neat, because basically what these do is they activate their character effects, but then it gives you also a reprieve from their other effects. It gives you 1 turn rest from that other bonus that might happen, but it also activates their worst things. But it also means you know that basically the other ones might come up at some point. So if you draw this right away and you dodge it, you know you have 3 other cards to go against. Heroes can't perform heal or recovery actions. Heroes can't gain mana from dice. And when enemy attacks, defending hero discards 1 mana for each rolled card by the attacker. But you only have 1 punishment out at a time, so it's not like these are all cumulative. So he's got his, and then he has his skill you can gain. Action, kill 1 minion on your tile once per round. Action, discard all your mana and deal wounds equal to the amount of discarded to 1 enemy in magic range. So that's definitely a fun one. I mean, that's powerful, but for someone that can kill you in 1 hit for just being next to you, it's definitely a worthy ability to have. And then the reminders, you might not, if you're fighting off against the bosses, I don't think there's any minions when you get to the actual, there's no minions when you get to the actual boss fight. So those are kind of pointless. Alright, now we have Famine. Who's got this really mouthful, spiky horse. He's got the scales of bounce. He's kind of like a withered old man. He's also going to have a board full of tokens. There's a bunch of tokens there, and then Plague will have the other bunch. So what's Famine do? It says, Famine says, at the start of your hero phase, draw 1 punch card. So 7 health, 2 dice, 1 blue, 1 black. His attack deals 1 Famine token. Plus he has magical range, so he gets hits from a distance. None of them are fully ranged characters, though, which is kind of nice. Just ranged characters, I guess. If you drew the Growing Hunger, each hero takes 1 Famine token and wounds equal to the Famine tokens they have. Otherwise, move Famine towards the closest hero until it has range to them and attacks them. After they attack the hero, take 1 wound for each Famine token they have. So it's just going to normally give you a token and then you're going to take damage, otherwise you can dodge. Now, I believe you can spend a recovery action to heal them. Let's see in there. I thought it said in here somewhere. Yes. Famine and Plague tokens. Either token Horseman has in his dungeon. Players might be required to use the tokens. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. That just tells me the tokens go on people. I thought there was something that said about healing from them. I have to reread everything. There's probably some way of getting rid of them in the campaign, but I'm not going to double check all that. Alright, so let's see what his upgrade forms do. So he's going to gain more health. and beggar dice, and I think that's all that's going to happen. And then his level 10, 15 health, 2, 4, and 3. So you got some good defense. These powers all stay the same. Magical range attack, 2, 3, and 2. Nothing extra special there. There's Famine punishment cards. Of course, we'll have Growing Hunger, which start the darkness phase, shuffle all the punishment cards. Heroes must take 1 Famine to perform an attack action. Heroes must take 1 to perform a move action, or all enemy attacks have add 2 to the defending hero. Then his skill card, which will say skill on the back as well. Attacks deal 1 Famine to an enemy. When an enemy with a Famine attacks, it takes 1 wound for each Famine token on them. So it's definitely fun. Adds that extra little ability. Then our final horseman is Plague. He's got the plague, like, pointed mask. He is actually ranged, though. So he's got, like, the most normal-looking horse. This is this nice little white horse. But you can see how it's kind of, like, dying. You can't tell in the artwork, but in the thing, there's lines on there, so it looks like he's kind of, like, maybe malnutritious a bit. There's him. So he has 7 health, 1 blue, 1 black dice. Combat, 1 claw, deal 2 plague tokens. He has melee of 1 orange and 1 black, and ranged of 1 yellow, 1 orange, and 1 black. So if you want to probably get closer so he can't hit you with as many dice. But it says, when he is spawned, all heroes take 2 plague tokens. At the start of the hero phase, you draw a new plague punishment card. If you drew Pestilence, all heroes take 1 plague. All heroes in line of sight take 2 instead. Otherwise, move plague towards the closest enemy it has in range to them, and attacks all heroes in line of sight with 1 attack, or with 1 claw. So you're gonna hand out them plague tokens. Alright, then his attacks and stuff will just go up. And we hit level 10, 15 health like all the rest of them. 4 blue, 2 green, 2 black. And then his attack are 2, 2, and 2 for melee, and 2, 3, 2, and 2. So he gains some hefty extra dice, but he still only does 2 tokens. Alright, then what do his punishment cards do? Greater Punishment, start of the phase, shuffle all the cards, of course, activate his ability. Heroes have -1 attack for each plague counter they have. Have -1 defense for each plague. Heroes start their turn with 3 or more plague, have 1 less action. And if you get his skill card, instead you can deal plague to enemies that have 1 defense for each plague on them. So that's definitely fun. Alright, so that was our 4 horsemen, and let's look at our tiles, and then we'll look at the boss. Alright, I am going to grab my book here so I can figure out which tile goes to which character. So, we have, starting with this red one here, I believe this is Wars. You can see just strewing of red crystals and red orbs and all these dead bodies. War is just causing chaos everywhere. So that's War's tile. And then we have this green one here, which is, I believe this is Plague's. Yep, this is Plague's token. Or tile, sorry. There's all these barbs of thorns and his green poisony light tiles. So the white one here would be, I think this one's death. Yep, this one's death style. So he gets a crypt. It's like a mausoleum lit up in the beginning, and there's all these coffins everywhere, which makes sense for a death. And then finally, Famine. Just basically like just burnt away ground where he runs through the middle. And then some white ashy areas on the outside. Basically just killing the ground below him. So those are their 4 tiles, and these ones are listed as F on there. Then we have the boss tiles, which add just a bunch of other random chaosness. It's a little bit of kind of everything. There's some of the branches that were in plagues, some of the steam or whatever from famine, some of the mausoleum stuff from death. You get a little bit more of each of that. Nothing really generally stating war, other than just overall maybe fire and chaos. And there's the 4th one. So they'll create like an outer ring, an inner ring of green. So those are 4 tiles. Alright, then let's look at our boss card quick. So, whoop, that's not what we want. We want this one. So the boss card is going to also have one-shot version, so if you just want to play these by themselves, and then the campaign mode, which are a lot stronger. So they all operate with lots of the same stuff. They have the same move on this side. They keep the same track they combine, but they all have their own different health, defense, and attack dice. Although, if you notice, their attack dice are all the same, their defense are all the same, with the exception of Famine has magic ranged, and Plague has normal ranged or melee. Otherwise, they roll the same dice. So they all have 8 health, they all have 5 blue dice and 1 black dice, and they all have 2 yellow, 2 orange, and 1 black dice. So Plague's attack is combat. He can deal 1 Plague token. War does 1 damage. Famine, hero discards all Famine tokens and places that many wound. And Death drains mana. So they definitely simulate their regular abilities. On the bottom, they have Apocalypse, draw new punishment cards. So on each of the different ticks, it draws a new punishment. And then Doom Carousel. Each enemy phase, each horseman moves 2 zones following that carousel. So that was that round map I was showing. Then their regular overall special attacks is they have 0 claws, they get Dark Penance. Before the carousel, apply the combat ability of the horseman with the least health to each hero. 1 claw horseman strike before the carousel. Each horseman attacks the closest hero in range if possible. And then Trample Gallop. During the carousel, deal 1 wound to each hero in zones the horseman enters. So like in the first round when they're going around the outside, that Dark Penance is going to suck no matter what. Because it's going to hit someone anyhow. But the horseman strike, so basically if you're too close, they're going to hit, so you probably want to take out Plague and Famine first, just because they have more range. But then that Gallop Trample is a problem is there. But as they move in on them rings for that Doom Carousel, they're going to be able to hit you easier. So they're just going to start running you over more often or be closer to strike. So it's definitely an interesting concept. Then if we flip over to campaign mode, all the other stuff stays the same. Apocalypse and Doom Carousel. They keep the same dice as each other, just add more. So now they have 16 health per each one. 5 blue, 4 green, and 3 black dice for defense. And their attacks are 2 yellow, 2 orange, 3 red and 3 black. Their effects are a little bit higher, so they're going to deal 2 plague tokens, 3 wounds, deal 2 wounds with the Famine, and Death will steal 3 mana. So they just up each one's numbers. But then the campaign, the other stuff stays the same, except the bottom one. Now they deal 3 wounds to each hero in the zone they enter instead of 2. They just get more powerful. But yeah, that's if you want to fight them as a boss. Alright, so that is what we have for Master Darkness 2, the Four Horsemen. So if you're looking for a couple new roaming monsters with some interesting effects, there you go. If you're looking for new boss mode, new maps, it's awesome. So this has a little bit, maybe less extra content than some of the other ones because you're not getting any other new item cards. The skill cards are kind of cool, although 2 of them do require that you keep extra tokens and stuff around, and you have to beat one of the guys first. So, and that's usually, I think, just for campaign mode. I don't think you're supposed to play if you just play like a roaming monster and you beat them. But if you threw them into a regular campaign, that would be cool, but I think you'd still want to then throw all 4 in there at some point as roaming monsters, if you were going to use the skill cards, just because in that way it's a little bit more even, so you're not just one player getting a random skill card out of nowhere. But yeah, there we go. Some extra new content if you're just curious what was in the Four Horsemen. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye.